most productive you felt in a while was probably the day that you done nothing done. You sat down, you opened up Notion or Todoist or whatever you're on now, and you built the thing. All the tasks in, the tags, the views. Maybe you switched to a new app everyone swears by. A couple of hours in, you felt shot, on top of everything for once. But the work that you actually sat down to do never got touched. Not that day, not even that week. That wasn't you being lazy. And it wasn't the wrong app. The app did exactly what it was built to do. The problem is that what it's built to do quietly wrecks an ADHD brain in particular. I'll show you why, and then I'll show you the embarrassingly boring setup that I use, the one that finally works after I give up on all of them. But forget about ADHD for a second. Just think about what one of these apps is as a business. Notion, Todoist, any of them. It doesn't make money when you finish the work. It makes money when you open it. So everything in these apps are built to get you to open it and to make you feel good when you do. The streak, the notification, the check mark with sound, and dragging a card from one list to the next. None of that is designed to help you work. It's there to get you to come back. This guy named Nir wrote this book back in 2014. It's called Hooked, and the recipe is very simple. Something pees you. You open the app. You do a tiny thing, and you get a little hit. And because you can't quite predict the hit, you keep coming back for it. And the same reason that a slot machine works is the same reason that the streak works. And what I'm not saying is that these big apps are out to get you. The big app makers aren't evil. They're just doing their job, which is keeping you on the app. The streak, the notifications, all of it. It's normal product design. The problem is what that normal design does to an ADHD brain specifically. Because for most people, an app built to keep pulling you back is just a little annoying. But for an ADHD brain, it's a real problem. And here's why. And this part isn't me guessing. It's the most established thing of this whole video. And it's really the heart of it. The ADHD brain handles reward differently, and there's two parts that matter here, waiting and the wait itself. The first part is about waiting. Everyone would rather have a small reward now and a big reward later. That's just normal. But in ADHD, it's much stronger. The longer you have to wait for something, the faster it stops feeling worth it. A lot faster than for most people. The second part is about the wait itself. Your brain gives you a little hit of anticipation when the reward is coming, before it even gets there. It's the buzz of knowing something good is on the way. In ADHD, that buzz is a lot weaker when the reward is far off, and it's a lot stronger when the reward actually arrives. So your brain barely reacts to a payoff it has to wait for, and reacts hard to one that is bare right now. Now put these two next to the actual work. The real work, the stuff that pays you or builds the thing that you care about, that's a big reward that shows up much later. If you write something for 3 hours today or you record a video, the payoff might be next month. It's the same for me. I don't know if these videos are going to blow up. My channel is brand new. But that's the exact kind of reward that our ADHD brains are worst at waiting for. But the apps are the exact opposite. You open it, you tick a box, you move a card, you hit the streak. It happens right now, you get rewarded right away. But the app hands you the one kind of reward that your brain goes for, with none of the hard work attached. Building the app itself rewards you. Building your tags, your folders, your list, that is a reward in itself for your ADHD brain. So you sit down, you do the big hard thing that pays off later, and your brain does the math. It always does. The math says to open the app, not because you're lazy, but because the app is an easy reward sitting right there. And the work is the one that your brain can barely wait for. There's a second thing going on, and this is the one that makes you blame yourself. ADHD comes with a weaker working memory, the kind that holds things in your head, and a weaker memory for things that you're meant to do later. Both are measurably worse in ADHD adults. That's the real reason why every app doesn't work for you. Think about what every productivity system promises. You get out of your head, you write it down, and you trust the system. The advice assumes that your problem is forgetting. But for us, the problem isn't only that we forget, it's that the moment that a task leaves your head and goes into the app, it also leaves your sight. And out of sight for the ADHD brain equals gone. You file the task away neatly, and you never think about it again, because the thing that was supposed to remind you is the exact thing that doesn't work. So the app fills up. You stop opening it to actually get things done, and you start opening it up for that little hit. A couple of weeks later, there's 40 things that you're avoiding, and opening it feels so bad that you start fresh, again and again. I know I've done this in countless of apps like Notion, Todoist, Trello. I've spent thousands of dollars on things that I thought would finally make me do the work, but it never did. And then it's a new app. There's a clean dashboard, 3 good days, and then it's the same ending. You've done this for 4 or maybe 5 times. And now you need to realize that it was never actually the app. But before you go and delete every single app on your phone, let me stop you. There's a version of this that's just wrong, and the research is clear about it. Getting things out of your head and into something you trust is the real proven treatment for ADHD adults. List, calendars, breaking big things into small ones. It works, it's been tested, And the people who run these studies tell you to use your phone and your notes to do it. So gamifying a boring task actually works too. If you put some points on it or some rewards, the ADHD brain will stick to it for longer. And it's why some of these apps exist in the first place, like Habitica or personalized Notion dashboards. So the tool isn't the bad guy, and neither is the streak. The whole thing comes down to this one line. Using the tool to get into the work is the point, but using the tool instead of the work is the trap. So a list that gets you to do the work is actually doing its job, but it turns against you the moment that messing with it starts to feel like the work itself, and it quietly kicks its place. For most people, that line is very far away, but for the ADHD brain, that line is very close. You grab hard at the reward in front of you, and you don't wait very long for the ones that are far away. You cross it without noticing, and this app was built to help you cross it. So if the apps aren't the answer, then what is? This is the part that doesn't sell because there's nothing here to buy. Everything's free. And so I stopped looking for the app that would fix this because no app was ever going to fix my productivity issues or that I couldn't get the work done. The fix goes the other way. Instead of trying to build a tool I'd want to open, I put the stimulation my brain was chasing onto the work itself, and it turned out to have almost nothing to do with the apps. The real order for me looks like this. First, I get sunlight in the morning. Then I do some lifting. I eat something that doesn't leave me wrecked, like not heavy carbs. Then when I sit down to do the work, I have a film playing in the corner. The room that I'm sitting in to do the work, contrary to popular belief, is not silent. And that's the stuff that gets my brain into a state where the work is even possible. Once that's in place, I don't need a tool to trick me into starting. I just start. And I am off medication. And that's my choice. I'm not telling you to do it. But this whole thing works the same either way. If you're on meds, if you're off meds. But off the meds, I need something to switch my brain on in the morning. And for me, that's the gym. It's the most reliable thing that I've got. It's the closest thing that I've found to what the medication used to do for me. And that's what I want you to take away. What fixed my work was getting the inputs right, so that the work itself became what my brain could walk into. The app that I get this done in barely matters. And if I use one at all, it's just a place to where I keep a list to remember things. Most days, that's it. Inputs, then work. No list, no method, nothing to manage. But every so often, there's a task that I keep putting off. Something that's big and boring, and I just have to force it. That's the only time where I write a list. And even then, it's bare. So let me literally show you how I do this in a Google Doc, right, with a brand new task. So let's say I have to make a video. The task is to make a video. That's the main task that I need to do. The second thing I'll do is I'll break it down. So what do I need to actually make a video? I'll ideate, make a title, I'll make a thumbnail. Maybe I'll do some research before that. After I have all this, I'll write a script. I'll turn that into a presentation. Once that's all locked, I'll record it. Then I'll go ahead and edit it. I'll wait, but editing is not just editing, it's even more than that. So I'll go back, I'll find or generate the assets I need for the hook, cut up the footage, edit it together, write description, post on YouTube. So the whole process is 12 steps, but I take it a step further. So last video, I talked about the Pomodoro technique and how it doesn't work. But what I remembered is that this technique that I learned from this guy in Troy, he's one of the guys that used to work at the Flow Research Institute, and I remembered it because of one of the comments from one of my subscribers, Clem. Shout out to you, Clem. I remembered something called the Flowmodoro technique, and it's the Pomodoro technique, except it's inverted. So instead of counting your time up to 25 minutes, 30 minutes, 90 minutes, you actually do the opposite. You count up from 0. And what I'll do for each one of these tasks is I'll see, okay, how much time do I think it will take to finish this? Maybe 4 hours, right? I have other obligations, so I might map out 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours to actually do the task. And I'll pull up my clock app, like literally my clock app from the Apple store, whatever it is on Windows. Just use your stopwatch. But you can even use Google if you want. I'll just count it up. I'll have it in the background. So let's say, I don't know, it takes me 30 minutes to ideate, or whatever the stopwatch says. I'll write 30 minutes makes to ideate. And then it might take me 15 minutes to research, and then another 15 to make a title, and then 30 minutes to make a thumbnail. And then to write the script, it might take me 1 hour. At the end of this, I'll add it all up. I'll see, okay, this is how long it took me. So let's say in total, it took me 4 hours and 30 minutes. And I'm sure that the reason that this works so well is because it's gamifying the process. I'm using time as the literal point system, and I'm using all the tasks on this list as a reward. And this is what I treat as the streak, a habit tracker or Notion or the Todoist. You know how they have the streaks built in? This list of tasks is what I treat as my streak, and it works so well, especially if I need to just sit down and get the work done. And yes, you're fed this slop from these second brain people, from these Notion template people, that you need a template or this is the best way to do it. You need a plugin, you need a dashboard. But I do this all in Apple Notes or Google Docs. It's the Notes app that came free with your laptop. You don't need anything more than that. Because the moment that the place I keep my list in becomes something now I can decorate, I can tweak, and I can rebuild, and the whole point is gone. It's like this, right? The bell curve meme. You start off in Apple Notes because you don't know anything. And then, oh, you watch a few YouTube videos. You start looking into all of these apps like Obsidian. You try to make some cool Google Calendar setup and you start using Notion. But then you realize, oh, shoot, I've never gone back to these things. I've never used them again. So you go back to Apple Notes and you start simplifying your list and you don't decorate the whole thing. And it actually works. And this bell curve meme, it's just a meme, but it's also true. The people who overthought it and the people who thought about it the hardest ended up in the exact same place, a blank note. It's the anxious middle that builds up a giant system. And the boring isn't me settling for less. The boring is that the work is getting done. Apple Notes or Google Docs gives me nothing, so the only thing I have left to get anything from is the work itself. And that's the whole system, right? So sunlight, a workout, some food. I watch a YouTube video or film in the corner. Now for me, I typically search up film recap on YouTube because I get all of the entertainment and the entire narrative of the film, but it's so condensed. I'm not going to watch an actual film because it has boring parts in it. And I'll leave it up there in the corner while I work. And then I may have a blank note at a timer coming up, but that's only if I really, really need it. This method really does work though, and I encourage you to try it yourself. And this is all the least impressive setup that you've ever seen, but it's outlasted any productivity app or any to-do list that I've ever built. And so I took the full thing, all the inputs, and in the order that you build them in, and I put a free guide in the description called the Mongrel Stack. You can download it for free down below. It's built from the bottom up. Your body first, then the environment, then the work, because that order is what makes everything hold together. It's the whole foundation, and I hold nothing back behind a paywall. So if this video hits home and you're sick of building the system that felt better and actually doing the work, then this video and that guide is the way out, not another app to manage. So I'm still figuring out systems and what to actually do to make sure that you, the person with ADHD, can actually make money, can be productive, can enjoy your life. So I'll start here on this channel, then I'll build the rest from there. If you enjoyed this video and found it informative, let me know why down below, and if you have any other tips. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.